You wake up already being counted, not by a clock, by everything in the tree line that has learned what an animal your size is worth. You're a grazer, mid-sized, warm, slow off the mark for the first few seconds of any morning. And this is Australia. 40,000 years before it becomes the safe version. Back when the continent still kept predators the way other places keep weather. 4 of them share this ground with you. 2 hunt where you feed. 1 waits where you drink. You don't have names for any of them. You've got the one thing that matters out here. The sense that something is always closer than it should be. Right. Let's run it. If you want to see more extinct things put back where they don't belong, and watched until something goes wrong. You know the drill. Stay to the end. It gets worse. Start with the morning. You come off the ground stiff and thirsty. The light is thin, the grass is dry, and the first decision of your day is the same as the last one. Where the water is, and what's between you and it. You graze. That's the whole job. Head down, jaw working, ears up. Every few seconds you lift your head and read the country. Nothing. You go back down. That gap, head down, head up, is the only argument you ever get to make about whether you live. The country reads back. Out past the grass there's forest edge, and the forest edge is where the shapes live. You don't see them. You feel the arithmetic. Something on 4 low legs has been holding still in the timber long enough to become part of it, and it's doing to you exactly what you do to the grass. Deciding whether you're worth the effort, you move off. Not because you saw anything, because the morning felt 1 degree too quiet. This is the trick the continent plays. It's beautiful. Sun-bleached grass, pale trees, a sky that goes forever. And every open meter of it is a decision about exposure. Out here you can see a long way, which means a long way can see you. You drift toward lower ground, where the green is. Lower ground means water. Water means everything comes here, which is the problem, and you already half know it. The safest looking place on the whole continent is the one place every hungry thing on it has agreed to meet. You don't go down to drink. Not yet. You stand at the top of the slope and you wait, and you watch the reeds do nothing for a very long time. The reeds do nothing. You've been alive for 1 morning, and you've already worked out the only rule that keeps you breathing. The country will give you water, shade, grass, everything you need. It just puts something next to each one. That's not cruelty. Out here, that barely rates as unusual. You lower your head to the grass again, head down, head up. The tree line is closer than it was. Field note. This isn't a horror story. It's the fossil record. Pleistocene Australia, the continent as it ran for most of the last 2 million years, before the version we live on now. It was drying out. Slowly, unevenly, over tens of thousands of years. The water pulled back, and the giants that depended on it thinned out with it. Somewhere in that long decline, the continent lost around 88 kinds of large animal. Most of that loss stacked up across the last few 100,000 years. Which means for a very long stretch, this place was better stocked with ways to die than almost anywhere on Earth. The animals in this sim are real, so was the pressure. You get older by getting lucky, and then by getting less reliant on luck. The first lesson is the open ground. You're crossing it in the middle of the day, because the grass is better on the far side, and halfway across the country stops being empty. Something comes out of the tree line low and fast, and your entire body decides to leave before you've finished seeing it. Here's the thing you couldn't have known. That was a crocodile. Not the kind that lies in the river and waits. This one has long legs and it runs. It came at you across dry land like it belonged there, because it did. Its mouth isn't built to hold you under until you stop. It's built to open you. The teeth are flattened and serrated, blades with jagged edges, made to cut rather than grip. On land, it can't drown you, so it does the other thing. It takes a piece and lets you carry the wound until the wound finishes the job. You outrun it. Barely. You're built for one hard sprint, and it seems, is built for the chase. You win this one because it started a half-second late and you were already nervous. Which, out here, is the only edge that ever counts. The second lesson comes from above. You've learned to fear the tree line, so you skirt it. Close enough for shade, far enough to run. What you haven't learned is that the tree line has an upstairs. There's an ambush predator here that doesn't chase at all. It climbs. It waits in the fork of a tree with a grip most animals your size never think to look for. And it comes down onto the back of things that were only ever watching the ground. You feel it more than see it. A shift in a branch that shouldn't shift. A weight where there was only leaf. You bolt sideways on instinct, and something heavy hits the dirt where you were standing. You don't stop to look. You've already used up your opinion on the matter. That should have killed you. It didn't. The country just files it under next time. And there's a fourth. The big one. The giant monitor lizard I've dropped into this country before. The largest lizard science has ever found. With a real, peer-reviewed case that its bite ran venomous. You haven't crossed it yet. Out here, yet is doing a lot of work. Then there's the slow lesson. The one that doesn't have teeth. The water is dropping. Every week the green ring around the low ground pulls in a little tighter. The mud reaches further, and the walk to a drink gets longer and more exposed. The continent isn't trying to kill you fast anymore. It's doing it the patient way. Moving the one thing you can't live without a little further inside the reach of everything that wants you. And once, just once, you smell something new on the wind. Smoke. Not the dry crackle of a lightning burn you know how to run from, but something smaller, tended, moving with purpose along the ridge. You don't understand it. You just know the country has never smelled like that before, and that whatever carries fire on a still day is not something the old rules cover. You move away from it. Same as everything else out here, you file it under later. Head down, head up. The water's further than it was yesterday. Field note, the land crocodile is real, and this is where the record gets honest. We call it Quinkana. Its last species held on in Australia, astonishingly late. The same rough window that took everything else. Here's the catch. We have the teeth and parts of the skull, and almost nothing below the neck. No complete skeleton. So the long-legged runner you just outran is built partly from good evidence and partly from careful inference. How big did it get? The estimates run from a couple of meters up to around 5, maybe 6. And with no full skeleton to settle it, the honest answer is that the record stops at the bones. And the bones don't all agree. The drought decides it for you. You've put this off for 2 days. Your body won't let you put it off for 3. The nearest water is a shrinking hole down in the low ground, ringed with reeds and dead timber. And you've watched enough mornings from the top of that slope to know it's the worst place you visit. You go anyway. There's no version of alive that doesn't include the water. You come down slow, ears working, feet quiet, reading the reeds the way you've read everything for your whole short life. The reeds do nothing. They've been doing nothing for a long time. That should reassure you. It doesn't, because somewhere under the doing nothing there is a thing that has made an entire living out of exactly that. Down at the edge you lower your head. The water's warm and low and tastes of mud. You drink, one eye up. The reeds, still, do nothing. Then the ground moves. Not the ground. Something the length of the bank that has been lying along it, patient, warm from a whole day of sun, waiting for the animal that had no choice but to come. It doesn't lunge from far off. It's already close. It was always already close. That was the plan the entire time. The first thing you feel is weight. Not teeth. This one has no venom and doesn't need it. And its mouth is too small to be the problem. The problem is the body. It gets a loop over you before your legs finish the message to run. And then it does the one thing it was built to do, which is not let go. You pull. It holds. You pull harder and it takes up the slack, and every breath out is a breath you don't get all the way back. This is the trap the continent built out of the thing you need most. You came for water. The water is where it waited. You fight the way prey always fights. Everything at once, all in the first 10 seconds. It answers the way an ambush always answers. It waits. It doesn't have to win the struggle. It only has to outlast one animal's supply of air. And it has done this before, and you have not. The reeds go still again. The waterhole gives nothing back. A ring of mud, a set of tracks that go down the slope and don't come up, and a long shape easing back into the reeds to be part of the bank again. By the time anything else comes down to drink, there's nothing to see. Just water. Just reeds doing nothing. Which, out here, is exactly how it's supposed to look. So that's how you die in prehistoric Australia. Not to one monster. To a continent that kept 4 of them and moved your water inside their reach. Here's the part that should even the score, and doesn't. Every predator in this sim is gone. The land crocodile, the tree climber, the giant lizard, the snake at the water hole. All of them extinct, inside the same rough window around 40,000 years ago. They didn't lose to something bigger. They lost to the place that made them, and nobody has settled how. One reading blames the long drying. The continent starving its own giants as the water pulled back over tens of thousands of years. Another puts it closer to the arrival of a new animal, the one that carried fire on still days. The evidence hasn't picked a side. The thing that killed the killers is still in the record, unnamed, argued over. The country isn't telling. It never does. That's the sim. I'll see you in the next one. If you made it this far, you're the type who wants to know exactly what's waiting at the water. So drop the next creature in the comments. The one with the most replies gets dropped into Australia next week, and I'll be there to watch how long it lasts. Right. That's me.